All right, here we go. This is a demonstration of the FarSITE Technology Design PEAK Board. PEAK stands for Planning, Execution, Allocation, and Knowledge Board. We have formatted this basically to replicate the three main outbound paths for Frazeysburg, Ohio Fulfillment Center: pick, pod, singles, and personnel. This is the selection screen, the main screen that you would come to. We're going to go immediately into pick. The pick screen loads up. It is divided out very similar to what you see here on the magnet board. Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, zones 1 through 8, and we have tote runners down the side. What you're seeing right now are badges of the employees. Every badge has an employee number, has the employee's name, their photo. These happen to be the presidents of the United States. And they have a bar across them. Scarlet is red, gray is gray, Buckeye is brown. That represents the 3 shifts at Frazeysburg. What you're seeing happening right now is a simulation of what will happen when the board is live and connected through Olympus into the live clock on for UltiPro. As every employee clocks in, they'll turn color, they'll go live instantly. The clock at the bottom, the counter, gives us a counter. We are 38 of 39 active participants right now in our direct paths. Our indirects, being our leads, our water spiders, and our tote runners, are not counted in that right now. Another thing it does is gives you instant feedback. This fills a problem we've always had when Barack Obama decides to clock out mid-shift and we didn't know it. So now you can watch this happen from the board. When he clocks out, we know we're unbalanced in zone 8. We can take him out. We can grab somebody from staging like Abraham Lincoln. We can bring Mr. Lincoln over, drop him in. We're now back in balance. This has always been a big issue in the pick mod, especially during peak. You never know when people are clocking out. You now have an instantaneous way. As long as they hit that clock, you'll know when people are in, you'll know when people are out. One of the other features that we have here when we're doing our planning, when you're planning and you're setting up your day and deciding where people are going to be in the zones, another thing that becomes very important to our staff is who's radio carriers. We have a sticker, we call it, down here on the button. It looks like a radio. You can grab this, and we can take it, we can put it over Richard Nixon here, anybody, and you can see the little radio pop up. He now is signified as radio carrier. If I want to look at this board, and for instance, if we had 200 people in here as we would during peak, and I just need to know who my radio carriers are, if I simply hit the button and tap it and hold it, it shows me, it filters out only the people that have radios. So again, nice feature. We can pull that off, everybody's back on our board. We have the ability here, down the side are all of our functionality keys. We can create plans, we'll go to that in a few minutes. We can change plans for the day. We can lock the board up. Locking the board simply makes it where an athlete walks by, anybody walks by, you cannot move. We can unlock it. You can edit your teams. Right now we have Scarlet, Gray, and Buckeye all on. If this happened to be a Tuesday or a Wednesday and Buckeye's not in, you can watch the people disappear in the back. This only pulls the people that are on the current roster per UltiPro, and right now it would be Buckeye or Scarlet and Gray in the pick mod. Cross training. We have a key here for cross training. One of the big features of this board is labor share. We've always had a difficult time with labor share, knowing who's coming from one department to the next, and if we have proper labor sharing. If we need to labor share, for instance, a common labor share is from pick to singles. If we need to move people from singles, we've never known very well who's trained in singles. We now have the ability to hit this, say, show me everybody that's in singles, and here is everybody cross-trained in singles. So I can then decide I need to move Mr. Lincoln out to labor share. When I take him to labor share, it's going to ask me where. It's going to show me every place he is cross-trained. I can't send him any place that he's not certified cross-trained by our training department. Let's say I'm going to send him to singles. I just sent him to singles. Now, he will always stay here because his home department is picking. He will always stay in the labor share of picking. But what happens instantaneously on the board, and I'll go backwards because we only have one board to show you right now. If I had my singles board up downstairs and was running, you'll see Mr. Lincoln pop in and he's got a gold bar under him. That signifies labor share. That makes it very easy, very visual representation that Mr. Lincoln is a labor share. I put him in path. This will happen well before the time he ever walks from pick over here. When he walks in, he'll know where his assignment is. I'm in singles, I need to go to station 8, and I go to work. If we need to labor share later in the day from singles to pods or someplace else, this person is already signified as labor share, so we can avoid the situation where we're labor sharing people multiple times, 3, 4, 5 times, the same people in and out of departments, and making the athletes unhappy. The other feature to this is it forces us, from this perspective, to always send our labor share. If we do try to labor share Mr. Lincoln, no matter where we want, they're going to return him automatically back to his home base, being shipping, or I'm sorry, you can see it disappear, being picking. The reason that is, and that helps us control where he's going to go and how many times any individual gets labor shared. So back to the pick board. We're here. Mr. Lincoln showed up in my staging area, so I know he's coming back, or if I need to share him over to pods or whatever, I can move him, go through the same process. Another feature of this, very valuable, the planning part in Peak, is create a plan. So if we want to create a plan for tomorrow, which happened to be Monday the 27th, for 6 a.m., we can create a plan. And when we create a plan, it's very visible. The background changes colors, it changes to a bright yellow. You're obviously in planning mode, not in active mode. You have a banner across here, it says planning mode. Now I'm going to go in and say, well, it's Monday. I'm going to have, wrong one. My teams on Monday are Scarlet and Buckeye. And all the Scarlet and Buckeye employees show up in the staging area. Now we can simply drag them over, put them in whatever zones I want them. There's actually a faster way. If I decide I want to drop and touch, I can drop them and have them jump. Sorry for being in front of the camera. Drop here, touch, he'll jump over to Charlie. I can then stage everything. Who's going to be my leads? Who's my water spiders? Who are my tote runners on every level? Set my entire plan the day before, save it, and I can go back at any point and go back to my plan, which I think is Thursday, the one we had active. It is. I go back to my active plan. Mondays is now in there. When I come in Monday morning, I will go in, activate Monday's plan. Everyone will be in the appropriate spots and they'll all be grayed out because I'm here as a supervisor, half hour before the shift, waiting for my people to come in and adjusting my plans. Another feature I'd like to show you, we have pick, pods, and singles. We can make as many boards as needed in any facility. One of the things we've built is the personnel. The personnel, this is everybody on your board. This is absolutely everybody that is an Alti-Pro. Every time Alti-Pro creates a new employee, creates an employee number, it'll create a badge and put a blank here. What we have here is the ability to go in, and we've built a tool for HR and for cross-training to go in and use this to designate what individuals have been cross-trained. If Mr. Trump went back in and just learned singles this week and got certified, they can come in and do it. Mark him as singles. He's already marked as a Scarlet team, his home path is pick. We have his employee number. Everything is in here and currently and constantly updated. So they can take this. Next time we go to labor share and we look for who's in singles, we'll know Mr. Trump is in singles. This will be for every employee that's active, so the list will be very long during peak, but this allows you to go through and have a tool to drag in your pictures, photo IDs, as well as all the cross-training. All right. So that was as fast as I could do it and try to give you a bit of the insight. Most of the features we have here currently for the touchscreen application of a peak board. Again, this can be set up in every path in the building. You can keep track of labor shares. We can calculate and document all labor shares within the building in any time period. So with this board, you can not only see your active head counts, we can watch and see how many times do we labor share, what percentage of our employees do we labor share every day or every week or every month? Who's been labor shared the most? Without the current visibility, I feel like we have a lot of our athletes that get labor shared constantly. So again, that's everything we've got. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.